Welcome back, everybody. So today we're going to be focusing on another cell of Wade Wilson's. You have to keep in mind that while he stayed at Lee County, he was moved numerous times. So there are numerous different cells that Wade stayed in. So as usual, we'll take a look at some incident reports and then the photos. So the first one states that on October 30th, 2021, while being assigned to 1 West at the Lee County Main Jail, at approximately 1600 hours, I heard a call for assistance for a shower move on 2 West and responded. Once I arrived, I noticed inmate Wade Wilson was being moved to the shower on 1 East. There was enough staff to conduct the move, along with Sergeant DeRoss. I asked the floor officer if a cell search was conducted yet and was told no. I then conducted a cell search of inmate Wade Wilson's assigned cell to see if there were any maintenance or cleanliness issues. During my search, I confiscated a large amount of nuisance contraband, along with extra linen items. He also had 1 pill, a Sharpie marker, inmate shoes with no medical pass, and items from staff dining. So inmate Wade Wilson made several remarks towards me that I was retaliating in regards to his PREA complaint, and that he keeps all the good contraband on his person under his genitalia. See the attached photos from the cell search, and inmate Wade Wilson will be receiving a disciplinary report for the following: contraband, medication, and unsanitary or untidy, which is failing to keep one's person and one's quarters in accordance with posted standards. Our next report reads that on Wednesday, September 28th, 2022, while assigned to 2 East, at approximately 0713 hours while conducting a shakedown of 2F9, multiple items of contraband were found. Retained cups, spoons were found, pills, and 2 tablets that he is not authorized to have due to being on DC. He had ripped his blanket into strips and his sheet. Inmate withdrawal of funds form 384 was filled out due to charge for the destruction of the blanket and the sheet. Pictures are attached, and due to his actions, he will be receiving DRs for contraband, destruction of county property, misuse of authorized medication, and the retention of articles. So I'm definitely noticing a theme here with Wade and these incident reports. Even though they are scattered throughout his entire stay at Lee County, they have the same common issues going on, even some days in between getting caught with this contraband, then the same contraband he's caught with 3 days later, 4 days later, 3 years later. It's the same thing that he is constantly getting in trouble for. But I definitely find it interesting how the tablets that, as far as I understand, each inmate is issued 1 single tablet. At this point of the report, he wasn't supposed to have any, so how did he have 2? If you have any thoughts, definitely let me know down in the comments. All right, so our first photo is going to show where Wade's cell was at this point of his stay in Lee County. It shows 3-41, and it's interesting that there are QR codes posted all throughout the jail. And then we get a closer look up at that door, and through that window you can see that there are a small amount of cells there, and that is where Wade was staying at this time. All right, so this is what Wade's cell looks like when you're standing in the hallway before you enter. He is in cell 2 at this point. Immediately what catches my eye is we see that tattoo machine that we had gone over in a previous episode, but you see the double bunk and the toilet and just a mess on the floor. So standing in the actual doorway of this cell, again, you could see that clutter going on. In the left-hand corner, you can see the orange pair of slide-on sandals that inmates wear, a better look at that tattoo machine, what looks like a filthy white tee to the right, and then his bedding and desk area. Making our way inside the cell at this point, and this photo is going to be focusing on all of that clutter to the left. Again, this is in violation because yes, they're allowed to have discovery, they're allowed to have books and paperwork, but it needs to be tidy and cleanly, and this is definitely not it. But it's interesting when we take a little bit of a closer look at what's actually in that clutter. So getting a little bit closer up, you can see that there are the headphones that you are able to buy off of commissary, numerous books, and what I find interesting is all of the front page of the books are ripped off. If you have any idea if that is a standard thing or if there's a reason for that, please definitely let me know in the comments. And it looks like a bunch of Discovery, and I see a brown washcloth back there. And if we zoom in a little bit more, on that yellow piece of paper, you could see it's actually a flower and then what looks to be the start of maybe a teddy bear. I'm not sure if these were sketches Wade was doing at the time for potential tattoos. That would make the most sense, since also we know that the tattoo machine was also in his cell at this time. And so we have another piece of paper within that mess. And like the previous one, I do believe that this was written out for a potential tattoo. Now, I'm not sure if Wade intended to give himself that tattoo or possibly another inmate. But to the best of my ability to read this, I believe it says, if I could give you one gift in life, it would be the sobriety. So yeah, I'm most likely going to think this is for another inmate, given Wade's track record with sobriety himself. Another piece of paper we can see when we're zoomed in, I could definitely make out the name Alexis, but also it appears to have a bunch of measurements written on it. So you could see 16 times 1/3 inches. So I am not entirely sure what he was measuring out, but we do know that he has a history of trying to escape. So potentially a window or something like that, I'm going to guess, because I can't understand why else he would have a bunch of measurements written down like that. Next up, we're going to see those headphones that I was talking about earlier, and then actually another piece of that yellow legal paper with what appears to be a rose. So at this point, I'm definitely assuming that he was doing all of these sketches for other inmates, and that's why he had the tattoo machine and all of these different sketches ready to go in his cell. So again, we just see that stack of paperwork. I'm not sure if maybe some of his Discovery is mixed in there, but you can also see all of the tattoo sketches and then the books, which again have the covers torn off of them. Is that a requirement? Is that something that Wade is doing on his own? Let me know down in the comments if you have the answer. And then we're going to take a look at the top of Wade's bunk in this particular cell, which I can see some more books with the covers off. I can see some linens in a bunch. I see that plastic looking Chinese food container, which let me know where they get that if you happen to know. A couple of decks of playing cards, and yeah, just a variety of things up there. Then we're going to move on to look at the bottom bunk, and on the bottom bunk you can see the green mattress is folded over in this image with the linens and the sheets from it tucked in, but they are specifically focusing on what was underneath that mattress. So you could see maybe a washcloth, but also black and white checkered boxers. And I know that they only offer specific items in commissary, the same way he got in trouble for black socks in the last cell that he was at. So question, where the hell did he get black and white checkered boxers if they don't offer it at commissary? Let a girl know, because that is absolutely bizarre to me. If he had these boxers as contraband, like where did they come from? Panning over to the right of his bunk, you have his little desk area, and there are a few things to note that are sitting on top of here. We have that shank that we saw in a previous episode, but also he is almost finished reading Penny Jordan's Sicilian Nights. You can see that he has a little notebook, some soap, a comb. I see a spoon up there, that plastic container, and below that you can see his sandals that the inmates are issued. So taking a closer look, you'll see that homemade shank. I'm not sure what it was originally from, like where that piece of metal came from, but it's wrapped in linen, and you can see it's used as like a hand guard. Then you have a small piece of what appears to be tinfoil that may have been burned. I see the other side of that triple antibiotic ointment, and then the spoon. Panning over just a little bit, you'll see the rest of that linen and how it's tied in 2 loops, which we have spoken about in a previous episode. Then along with the nail clippers, which I'm not entirely certain if he's allowed to have a pair of nail clippers or not in his cell. More cloth, the triple antibiotic ointment, and then what appears to be the ink portion of a pen sitting underneath it. Then to the right of that desk, we're going to have the double shelves along the wall. It has hooks, and on the far right, you can see a brown washcloth hanging. Along the top of the shelves, you're going to see a variety of toiletries. We have numerous Vaselines up there, lotion, toilet paper, shampoo, toothpaste, basically all of the items that we saw he was purchasing through his commissary. So panning down to the bottom right of that image, on the floor, we have toilet paper sitting there, and then styrofoam cups, one with an unknown liquid. It appears to be like a light pinkish in color, and then items sitting in the other stack, and I'm not sure what exactly those are. From this perspective, you are standing in Wade's cell looking out. Now you can see his actual toilet with the sink attachment on the top. You'll be able to see that tattoo machine again on the floor, the filthy, disgusting white beater. And then if you look close enough in that mirror, you'll actually be able to see another CO's reflection who is also taking photos. But right outside of his cell, you'll see that there is that little stool. I'm not sure if inmates sit there or what it's used for. And then actually, if you zoom up real closely, you will see that there's actually a cocoa butter sticker stuck to his door frame. So I have no idea why he peeled that off the original bottle and put it there, but it's Wade Wilson. So our last image shows all of the evidence which was collected, then bagged and ready to be sent off to forensics. We're gonna see that tattoo machine that was once sitting on the floor, the water bottle which has the pen and cap inside of it, and all of those straws which are so methodically placed together and held by those band-aids. So that's going to be the end for this episode. If you have not already, please take a moment, hit that thumbs up, let me know what you guys are thinking down in the comments below, and I will see you all at the next one.